Do some quick math. Multiply your client count by $500. It's a huge number, right? Today, we're talking to a gym owner whose average revenue per member, or ARM, is well more than $500, and he's going to share his secrets with you in just a minute. Welcome here. My name is Mike Warkentin. This is Run a Profitable Gym. I talk to the best gym owners in the world every month and every week, and I want you to find out what they have to say. So please hit subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. ARM, it's a huge deal, and know that wherever you are, you can add value for clients, and even $5 a client drops right to your bottom line, and it's going to make a huge difference in your business because it doesn't come with any additional expenses. So George Anthony Dulal-Whiteway runs Brainstorm Fitness in San Diego, California. George Anthony, can we add $5 to every listener's ARM in the next 30 minutes?
I believe so.
Okay, let's do it. You made our top 10 leaderboard in April for ARM, and it was a huge number, and I want to help people out. So let's get into the details here. I know that you're in a high income area in San Diego, but you've got tons and tons of competition in the gym market. So how do you find these high value clients that contribute to your ARM number?
One of my biggest things for finding new clients is referral based. Setting up those goal review sessions, sitting down with your clients, because like-minded people spend time together. Right? So the majority of the time, if they're a high value earner, if they are concerned and very much willing to make a decision on their health and wellness, they have one or two or three or five friends that think and feel the same way that they do. So setting up and sitting down with my clients and making those goal review sessions and opening up that conversation was probably the number one thing that led us to where we are today. We were already at a bit of a higher price point, but in order to be able to provide the value and show them that we can actually change their lives, it afforded that opportunity for that conversation.
So I think you just made people money right away in the first 6 minutes of this show, because goal review sessions have been proven to increase ARM and retention, length of engagement, the whole thing. And I said this at the Two Brain Summit recently: if you're not doing them with clients, you're wasting money, and you're literally not doing everything that you could do to increase value and increase length of engagement. So you're doing goal review sessions and you're getting referrals out of them. That's a huge deal, because referrals don't cost any money. You don't have to spend any money on ads. You're just asking people, do you have anyone else in your life I could help? Right. Tell me a little bit about your goal review sessions. When did you start doing them? And did you see your numbers, your metrics start to improve as a result?
I pretty much saw that. I started doing them almost immediately after hiring my coach from Two Brain, which is Nick Cabbage.
Good guy.
Awesome guy. And I was upset for a long time, to be honest, because prior to that, I always thought that my clients should be referring me business. I'm like, how come they aren't? Why aren't the coaches bringing new people in? Why aren't my clients telling people? And it's because I never asked.
So you start asking, and what happens?
I started asking, right? And we have a saying, right? We say closed mouths don't get fed, right? So you have to speak it. You have to say it, right? And a lot of time, I think we have these reservations about it, because we already think that we're great, but we don't want to impress that upon people by saying it, right? So the goal review session, what it does, it allows them to cheerlead for you, to you, right? And then when they say it out loud, they're like, wow, I actually was able to accomplish this with your help. I do know someone, right? Because maybe they had a conversation with someone else just recently that has a similar issue that they had in the very beginning, right? So it affords them to, it brings, being able to say it out loud kind of brings it into fruition, right? Because it makes them think about it all over again.
You can't expect people to bring clients to your door. I did this for a decade. It just doesn't work, right? You just sit there and you think, I'll be a great coach and they'll show up. It never happens. When you start asking people and saying, hey, your spouse, he's having trouble with his golf swing. He'd like to get a little bit stronger. I can help with that. And they're like, really? Boom, it happens. So, and in the goal review format, it doesn't feel unnatural, right? It feels very natural to say, you're having amazing success. You're crushing it. Congrats on your PR. We've set some new goals. Here's the plan to get there. Hey, do you have anyone else that might benefit from something like this? And with you said literally people say like, yeah, I just talked to someone who has the same problem. Can we get them in here? Easy day. So your metrics, your numbers, when you started doing this, you saw everything start to move?
Hugely. Two Brain has honestly changed my life completely.
Nice.
And it went from, especially post-COVID, because I've been open for about 7 years now. after COVID, we were lost all over again, especially here in San Diego. It was pretty strict. I know in Canada it was pretty strict as well. But we had to change the game a bit when the time came, right? We had to pivot from doing mostly classes to doing more privates or more semi-privates. And for me, that was one of the things that let me know that I still had a business that could make it.
So right there, listeners, referrals, goal review sessions, those two things right away. If you start doing them now, you will make more money. That's a guarantee. Our stats show that this happens. Start doing it. And George Anthony is the proof. Now, George, you said that your ARM is slightly higher than normal for this reporting period, which was in April, but your normal target would still put you easily on the leaderboard. So what affected this month's number? And then what's the bread and butter in a standard month?
We had a contract with a school, a local school nearby, right? So a colleague of mine brought us in to do some of the strength and conditioning for the school. And we ended up moving on from that project and looking for others. But that was a big chunk of change for us, right? It was a substantial number for us. However, I will say this, although we removed that chunk, it kind of allowed us to refocus now. And instead of looking at it as a loss, it's actually a new opportunity to be able to now fill stuff in the gym. Because at the school, we were having to travel. So there was 2 or 3 hours of the day that we weren't here within the business. So it now actually afforded us a bit more time to be able to get more bread and butter, which for us, now that that's been removed, is one-on-ones and semi-privates. So my studio focuses on bridging the gap between physical therapy and personal training.
Okay, that's a good one.
So the majority of our clients come to us because they've had some injury or ailment in the past that's been kind of an ongoing thing for them. So some of them have done PT and love it or hate it, and they're looking for something that's a bit more sustainable, or they are trying to avoid it, right? So some people have had an acute injury, maybe a back injury or a hip or a knee, and they say, well, you know what, I want to work out because I know it's important to me, but I don't want to do the traditional things that have led me to this injury to begin with.
Okay, so you're bridging a gap and you're offering a very specialized service. That's high value, right? Anything that solves problems and bridges gaps and fills holes in markets and gets people where they want to be, produces swift results quickly. Anything that does that is a high value service, and you can charge more for it, right? Dumping people into a weight room and saying, here's your, $20 gets you access to all my equipment. That's one thing. Providing a personalized one-on-one plan to get someone through and past an injury within your scope of practice, of course, that is a high value service, and that puts you on a leaderboard. So tell me a little bit about your gym and your business model. Like, what are you selling? How much space do you have? Clients, all that. Just give us the 411 on what you're doing at your gym so we can understand.
So we have a very small studio. So it's about 1,020 square feet, right? To include this office that I'm in right now. Like I said, we've been open for about 7 years. So initially, one of the things that we really focused on was what I called at the time group classes, but there was a cap to that because of limited space. So we used to max out the class at about 12 persons. And we had a couple of one-on-ones sprinkled in. Post-COVID, we pivoted quite a bit, right? Because now we had to say, okay, we need to be able to, recoup some funds and set realistic targets that didn't rely on something that was very high volume, right? Because you had a CrossFit style facility previously, correct? So
I did. Yep.
A lot of CrossFit gyms have a volume advantage that we don't have just because of limited space, right? I can only fit so many barbells and so many bodies in 1,000 square feet. So what we now do is one group class a day, right? That's a 7 a.m. class. Now we do packages of classes, class sessions, or you can do an unlimited membership. Unlimited membership is a really smoking deal. It's a high value, super affordable deal. And we have our longtime clients that have been here since almost day one. Then we provide one-on-one personal training. So I have one now. I just literally sat down with a new coach yesterday. So about to be 2 coaches. I would be the third for one-on-one specialized injury prevention, post-rehabilitative care, and getting people to be what we call brainstorm strong within our facility. So that builds confidence in movement, without the restrictions that come with traditional exercise, right? So a lot of times we look at movement patterns in terms of squat, hinge, push, pull, but those are one-dimensional movements, right? Single plane movements a lot of the time, and we incorporate a lot of transverse stuff, right? And then we also do semi-private training. So semi-private training allows for up to 4 persons in a same time slot. And we try to pair those with someone that has a similar goal, or perhaps they're a couple, or perhaps they're a group of friends. And we get them in at what for some people is a more affordable rate than one-on-ones, but it still has the same schedule flexibility that the one-on-ones have without having to lock them into a class time slot. And they still get some personalized training in there as well.
So you pulled out something that I want to highlight. Group training is your discount option, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
And that's cool because for me, it was the other way. Let's say that again.
Yeah. It went from the top to not the bottom, right? But it changed places.
Yep.
It used to be our priority. And now it's part of the conversation when someone comes in, and like we said many, many times at Two Brain, they said, you are the professional, right? You are the person that they already trust. The second they come into the door, they have trust in you, right? The second they show up for that NSI, they have trust in you already, or else they wouldn't walk in the door, right? So they are trusting us to provide them with a solution for their problem. So if there's, if their one, if their one reason is price or cost, I should say, then we can say, well, here's a reasonable alternative, right? It's not just, okay, well, buy. Right. It's almost like a good, better, best, but good is still great.
Yep.
Right. Because the fact of the matter is, Mike, I think the majority of people just need to move. Right. So if a person comes in and I said, I think you should train 3 times a week. And I say, well, I can't really afford 3 one-on-ones. Awesome. Well, how about 1 one-on-one per week? And then I'll love to offer you unlimited classes. And our classes are very scalable, very friendly, and they meet you where you are in your fitness journey. And they go, well, that sounds great. How many times can I come in? I said, we could come in up to 6 times a week for our class. All right. So now, in the grand scheme of things, if you did one single one-on-one, and you know what my numbers are, right? So, and that's kind of a sweet spot for us. One one-on-one a week plus unlimited classes almost gets you down to, if you really take advantage of it, that gets you $25 a session, right? Which is a steal if you were to train 5 times a week. Right, it affords you the opportunity to do so without breaking the bank for most people.
What a great way to drive up your ARM by a group class plus one one-on-one session, right? Like for the average gym, an average group class membership is like 159 or $69 or something like that. Average PT is 75. Put those numbers together, all of a sudden you're looking at 225, 230. You can make a very good living. You can make more than $100,000 a year if you have 150 clients who are paying $225, $205 a month, right? So this is an easy way. And you're doing it as this like incredible drop-down sell, we'll call it, where you can say, hey, I get that you can't personal train with me 4 times a week at a high rate. However, how about 1 plus this? So you get a group people in that slot. You fill that up. You're making money there. Then you've got your semi-private, which listeners, again, is people can be doing the same program or they can be doing their own program in a group of 3 to 4 where a coach circulates. And there's a very high value service. Again, that's a nice drop down sell as well. Then you've got your top tier, which is one-on-one, my attention, personal training for the hour up to whatever many times a month. And those memberships are thousands and thousands of dollars. You've got this incredible package and you can see how that ARM number starts to come out very, very quickly. Group class, do you mind telling me how much your group class membership rate is? And if you don't mind, that's fine too.
$200 a month, unlimited.
So $200 a month, that's already more than most gyms are charging for group class memberships. But then if you tack on that single personal training session, it goes up by a huge number. And which of your clients, right, exactly. It's through the roof. Which of your clients out there, listeners, does not need a single personal training session a month to help them get through a sticking point? All of mine did. I just never told them about it. And my average revenue per member was $123 a month, not over $500. So this is a huge win right off the bat. So there's more secrets right there that you can take and put in your gym. Offer premium services. And when people can't afford them or don't want them, drop down a little bit, but tell them about the best way to get results first. When you sell stuff, George Anthony, do you do that? Do you give them the best prescription right off the bat saying like, hey, it's one-on-one?
Yeah, absolutely. They say shoot for the stars and land on the moon, right?
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's the same thing, right? And honestly, once your clients trust you, and even doing this with existing clients, right? Whether it's offering your PT clients classes or offering your class clients PT, right? It flips it on its head in terms of revenue, right? It's a huge upkick in revenue, right? It takes it from what could be, again, 200 to 400, 400 to 600, 600 to 800, right? Depending. And doing it with your existing clients, I think, like in order to affect your ARM, is that they already trust you. They already trust you. They already love you. You've already got them results. And this is one of the suggestions that you can make to get them to the next level. So when you sit down for that goal review session and you say, here's where we're at, right? And they say, okay, well, I was hoping to get there a little bit quicker. Maybe summertime's coming. I got an event coming up. I just had a friend yesterday. We're going on an event this weekend, and he's like, how do I gain muscle and lose fat by next week? And I'm like, have you been training with us for the last 2 months? You would have got it done. But the it's already there, right? They're already in the room. You just have to proctor the conversation.
Yeah. Do you get some bleed over from your group class membership into that semi-private PT stream? Like, do people eventually say, hey, I want to stomp the gas? Yeah, they do. Hey?
And I think that's one of the best places to get PT, right? Is in your classes, right? Sit down. Because a lot of times we think the goal reviews are just for the already PT clients, right? The people who are already only doing one-on-ones. No, ask a question, right? Even if you're not the one coaching the class for the moment, right? Especially as owners, right? For those who were in the owners room at the summit this year, right? The conversation's slightly different, right? But all of your clients should know you. They should know your face. They should trust you. I actually stepped in the teacher class this morning, and one of my clients came up and she goes, this is what I pay for. And I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Right. So they have that trust in you, right? So it affords the opportunity to say, well, how's it going? And they say, well, I've been having this one issue. I can't get this one move, or I have this one kink, right, that has been bugging me. Well, you know what? How about I get you in for a one-on-one? How's the schedule looking next week? I have a slot tomorrow. And I think those little pieces are also crucial, right? Don't necessarily, because it adds a little bit, I won't use the word pressure, right? But it affords them, oh, wow, he's going to open up his thing just for me. Right. So it allows us to say, hey, you know what? I have an opening tomorrow at 3. I'd love to give it to you. Come in, let's sit down and have a conversation. And now you just doubled your number potentially, right? And even if it's just for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months down the road, but now they know anytime that they do have an issue, they could come back to you and do it again too.
Yeah. And it's hard to find new clients, right? Because they don't know you. They may not like you. They may not trust you. And to sell them a huge package, that's hard, right? It's hard to do. Yeah. It's doable. Like Nick Habich, your mentor, is a great salesperson, could definitely do it, but it's not easy. But if you have current clients, and Chris Cooper said this so many times, selling more to them, providing more value to them is way easier because they already know you. So an easy win, gym owners, you've got clients. Do they have kids? Yep. Can you help their kids? Yep. Do they need a kids program? Probably. Ask them. And if enough of them say, I want a kids program, start with a 6 or 8 week kids program, test it out. If you fill that thing 3 times in a row, put in a regular kids program. That's just one example. Spouses, same thing. There's all things, parents, older adults, 50 plus programs. We talked about this at the summit. All these different ways to help your current clients more and help their circle because they have this, they love you, right? And so you're a perfect example of that. I want to ask you about retaining high value clients because you get them. They're amazing. They're paying you, $500, $700, $800,000 a month, whatever it is. How do you keep these people long-term? What are you doing specifically to make sure these people don't go away?
So I'll actually start off by discussing losing some of them.
Yeah,
right?
It happens.
I think that's important, right? It happens sometimes.
Yep.
So I recently had a client that left because he had his reasons. And I said, okay, well, I had black and white proof that showed that we met his goals, and that's why these goal review sessions are important as well.
Yep.
So you can sit down to it. It becomes their decision, not based on something that you did or didn't do, right? So in order to, it then allows you an opportunity to figure out what do I need to do to keep them, right? Because anytime, I think exit interviews are important, as we talk about as well. When a client leaves, hey, is there anything that I can do better? And those are the things that you focus on making changes on in order to keep your existing clients. So in order to keep those existing clients, it starts off by having a conversation about what's most important to them, right? Hey, is weight loss most important to you? Awesome. Now we have metrics for weight loss. Is pain management important to you? Awesome. Now I can create an intangible goal for you that's based on a scale of 1 to 10. Hey, how did you feel at the beginning with this issue that you came in with, right? What 10 being the worst? Was it a 5 or a 6 or a 7? And then in 30 days, hey, remember that same issue that we discussed? Where are you at now? And hopefully they're not still at a 5 or a 6 or a 7, right? So it's being able to quantitatively and qualitatively show proof in the pudding, as we say, right? Show that you are able to get them the result that they need, right? And even more important, I think, is building the core of building a relationship with that client, right? Give God, take them out for a coffee, develop a human relationship, both in and out of the gym, right? Because then not only do they trust you from a professional standpoint, they just trust you as a person, right? I used to have a colleague that said, you need 2 things to be successful in this industry: likability and credibility. And you can't have too much of either one, right? So I think for my highest value clients that I've been able to keep, and we're just now getting these numbers, right? I'm just now starting to see these metrics for length of engagement, is developing that relationship that doesn't just tie to the workout, that doesn't just tie to the nutrition plan that you gave them, that doesn't just tie to the word of the day or the programming, right? It's about developing a genuine relationship and getting to know that person on a different level.
You said something really profound that I'm going to repeat. Measure the thing that your client cares about. Again, you'll hear this in our blog all the time. I did not do this. I thought people just want to do the same workouts I was doing, and I had them come to my gym. I didn't measure what they cared about. I measured deadlifts and Fran times and other things like that, which wasn't a bad thing, but it wasn't the stuff that they cared about, because some of them, many of them cared about weight loss or cared about looking a certain way or cared about something other than the stats that I was measuring. If you measure what your clients care about and then show them the progress along a scale, you were a 3, now you're a 10 or whatever it was. You've lost 5 pounds, you've lost 8 pounds, you've improved your deadlift, whatever they care about, you show them that metric, you're going to retain more members. Because the progress is obvious to you, but it's not always obvious to your clients. And it's certainly not obvious if you're not measuring the thing that they care about. So that's a huge one to take away from this show. Ask the client what they care about, then measure it, and then show them the improvement. If you do that, you will keep more members and you'll sell more. I want to ask you this one. You talked a little bit how you said, 2 Brain Mentors that changed your life. Talk to me a little bit about what that means. What specific stuff have you done that really moved things forward? And you talked about COVID and the whole thing after that. What have we got on the table here that really made your business better and made you see huge ROI in mentorship?
I can almost sum it up in one word, and that word is accountability. Right? Nick and I when 2 Brain first presented to me my options for coaches, right? They said, based on the things that you put in, here are 3 people that we think would be a good fit. Nick happens to live in the same town that I used to live in before I moved to San Diego. 1, Nick is a military veteran. So am I. 2, Nick owns 2 gyms already. 3, right? So he's been through what I've already been through in so many different ways. And I feel responsible to him to accomplish the things that we plan together, because more often than not, we are the leaders in our own spaces, right? So we don't have necessarily an accountability partner like we are to our clients, right? For our clients, we're the ones going, hey, you missed a meeting. Hey, you missed a session. Hey, what's this? What are these numbers? What's this? What's that? And so on. And that's what having a 2 Brain member did for me the most, was provided me that accountability. Someone else that I had to respond to, someone else that I had to be able to show up for, right? And it was for my own benefit, just like we do for our clients.
And it's needed. Like, I'll give you an example. Did you sign up for any of the summit workouts in Chicago?
I did not.
Okay, but that's okay. So, because we checked, I was right. No, but I was standing there, and we were checking the sign-ins at 5 a.m. And every time people sign in, and then they don't show up at 5 a.m. and they show up at 6 a.m. And on Sunday is worse because people are hungover. And it was funny because we were talking about this as gym owners, we all complain, right, about clients that don't show up for workouts when they're traveling, or they don't do their workouts when they're traveling, or they sign in for a class and don't show up. And then we had a group of gym owners, and many of them did the same thing. And again, it doesn't matter because they had a great time in Chicago at the summit. So I'm not making fun of them. But the idea is that accountability, every coach needs a coach. And if someone had said, hey, if I called that person at 4:45 in the hotel room and said, hey, I know you're hungover, but we're downstairs waiting on you. That person would have run down the stairs and worked out. But, we didn't 100%. Do that, obviously, because we had 1,000 gym owners. But you get the idea. So that accountability is a big one. And we saw that, at proof of that. I'm going to close this one out. You've given a ton of info already. I'm going to ask you for something specific. So if you go back to a period when your ARM was much lower, you weren't on the leaderboard, way lower, what's something that you would do to increase it by just $5 or $10? And I want to give this to the listeners so that they can take this and take a small step today. What do you got?
Introduce something to your clients that you already practice and you already trust, right? And it could be something simple. It could be something that doesn't necessarily cost a lot, right? It could be just a piece of advice, right? It could be signing up for a newsletter. It could be, hey, we're adding this one little thing. So for me, one of the things that I did was I purchased a fridge and I filled it. I stocked it with coconut water and a couple different types of energy drinks that I personally am into, right? So if there's something that at the beginning of the workout, my client sees me taking a sip and they're like, hey, what's that? It's this. Awesome. Buy that drink. You're already buying it for yourself, for example. Buy a case, right? It costs only a couple bucks, right? You can pick your number that makes sense, throw it in the fridge and say, hey, grab this. And before you know it, that $5 is $10, that $10 is $20 because they're doing one every single time that they come in. Now, that's one that comes with a little bit of cost. What I think, even if you were to just say, hey, add something intangible, right? Even if it's a scale, right? Say, hey, you know what? Something we're going to start incorporating this month is daily weigh-ins or daily challenges. And you say it's only this much to sign up for that challenge. At the end of it, you can reward them with something that doesn't necessarily have a cost. And it could just be acknowledgement, right? It could be something that's they go to the top of the leaderboard, but in order to sign up for the challenge, it's $5 to sign up for the challenge. And the majority of your clients, again, they know you, they trust you, and they're willing to kind of go a little bit further for you.
It's a great one. And I'll tell you a couple of things, guys. You can you don't have to stock inventory for certain things. Supplement sales work great unless you lose money on them, right? You work with a supplement provider who just
drop ships.
Yeah, just drop ships you the stuff. So someone orders and it's like, there it goes, right? You get a commission or whatever it is. Don't lose money on supplements and inventory. You could definitely start selling some extra stuff. And if you don't sell supplements, they're going to go to the mall and the kid at the mall is going to give them crappy advice about this thing that they need, which they don't. And you can get them the things that they want. So that's an easy one. I'm going to piggyback on what you just said. Another easy one, quarterly or even twice a year, apparel orders with pre-order. Sell them a t-shirt. Every one of your clients will buy your t-shirt for $25 or whatever it is. Pre-order, so you don't have to stock inventory because I always lost money on that. Easy win. These are easy, small things. Put them on your annual calendar. Do you sell t-shirts, George Anthony?
I do. I sell really fast to hit with these hoodies.
Oh, those are sweet.
Love these hoodies. They see them and they say, wow, I need that. And we even do seasonal colors. For example, I just did a seasonal color to where, hey, these are limited. Right?
Ooh, and then you got to buy one. Yeah.
Then they will say, we're only doing these for this month because spring is almost over or summer is coming, right? And then you can transition throughout the year. If you did an apparel drop quarterly, right? To say, hey, in the wintertime, we're doing hoodies, right? In the summertime, we're doing tank tops and hats. I know what the case might be. And people want to support you, right? Your clients want to support you and they're willing to spend it.
And the key there, do the pre-order, do the limited quantities, limited time offer. Don't stock inventory unless you're really, really good at it. Maybe if you're in Hawaii or Las Vegas at a destination, you can do that. But like, I couldn't do that. Pre-order the stuff, get it out, go on to the next thing. Don't offer a ton of stuff. Hats, hoodies, done. Whatever it is, that works. All those little things work. And then the other thing that you said that's great, offer something else, just a small challenge, something like that. Do something else. And what that is, adding value for clients. If clients are getting more, they're willing to pay more. And that's an easy one. So we've given them some really big stuff, like focusing on your avatar, having, high value services, dropping down to discounted options like group training. And we've also given them some very small tactical stuff. George Anthony, this has been a huge success, I think.
And absolutely. And I actually, it's funny you said the kids program. We start our kids program today.
Ooh.
It's summertime. We start an 8-week kids program today. Today is the first day of it.
Did you have to market that at all, or did you fill it with clients' kids?
Clients' kids, man.
Yeah, you just funnel in. So zero marketing
clients
costs,
already trusted. Yeah.
Right?
And,
So
and the trick is it gets their kids out of the house a bit. Right? It's the summertime right now. The kids aren't in school. Right? For us, at least here in San Diego, right? The kids are on summer break. So the parents are like, I don't want these kids in the house. Take them.
And kids programs should be priced higher than adult programs because it's a specialized service. So you can make way more money on that. Zero marketing costs if you get your clients' kids. You just have to ask them. And I'll tell you guys, if it's too late for you right now, wherever you're at, to get a kids program in place for summer, put it on your calendar. If you do this right now and say January, February, put a calendar notification that says start planning kids program for 2025, you will make money in May, June, July, whenever school is out for you guys.
Yep.
There's another one. George Anthony, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for all of this. This has been an awesome show with tactical stuff, my friend. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks very much for the opportunity.
My pleasure. That was George Anthony Dulal-Whiteway. This show has been packed with stuff that you can use to literally make more money at your gym. If you want to hear more stuff like this, please hit subscribe to Run a Profitable Gym with my thanks.